All right, let's go. It's Wednesday, I almost said August. Wow, October 13th. Good morning, everybody. Let's see here. Stayed up a little late last night watching the Giants lose. Um, Not the outcome I was looking for, but should be another good day in the markets. Let's see who's in here this morning. 6-8 Spindrift, what's up? Good morning, happy hump day. Sly Dev said let's keep crossing fingers for some green today. I think so. I mean, the one thing, if you're talking CLOV, yesterday we dipped down a little bit, but we popped back up above 8. I'm expecting CLOV to get back up there this morning. Noar, what's up? Good morning. Dan, what's going on? Good morning. Josh Stewart. Let's see here. Joey G says, let's see some green today. KLF, what's up? Holiday Option, what's going on? Tampa says, good morning. Rick James, what's going on? Top of the morning. Danny did it. Great morning. Yeah, things are starting to move. There's a couple movers this morning. KOSS popped up yesterday, right at the end of the day on no news, and has continued to rip. That's one of the OG memes, and it's got me kind of excited to see one of these ones pop because who knows if some of the others may follow behind. Let's see the beginning, what's going on. Michael, what's up? La Clova Nostra, Skip C's in the house. Dennis D, good morning. Alfonso says Clover, Lucid, and if I'm really lucky, BBBY. See, that's what I mean. So, like, BBBY is one of those OG ones, too. So, if all of a sudden you start seeing those kind of moving together in unison, which right now it doesn't really look like it, but KOSS is, I don't know what's going on with it. I haven't been able to find any news on it at all. But it's moving today. Let's see. Andy Smith, good morning. JJ. Got a lot of people in here this morning. Wabistics. Michael says another round of typical morning bullshit. Yeah, that's that's pretty much what happens every morning on this show. Hobbs, what's up? Matt Johnston. All right. Let me get my stuff set up here. Yeah, I stayed up a little late last night. Later than usual. Not too late, but for a weeknight. Getting up to stream it's 5 a.m. here right now. Let's see here. All right, so JJ says KOSD, something about patent versus Microsoft. Oh, KOSS. Sorry. I'm assuming that's what you meant. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see that. I was looking all over my news feed and I saw some circuit breakers yesterday to the upside. But I haven't seen anything. At least on my news feed. I don't know. Prior to yesterday, the previous news was like from September 30th. So yeah, not sure what's going on. Let's see here. So, just looking at some of these stocks before we get into, some other ones, we'll kind of review what we were looking at yesterday. But, there was kind of a long list yesterday of ones that came up on the scanner and then ones that I was already kind of looking at. And as always, I've kind of said, like, keep some of these big name squeeze stocks of recent, like, your SDCs, your ATER, GRE, BBIG, all those stocks kind of, up on your watch list if possible. And the one that popped out at me that we weren't, earlier on the stream, I had said, this one was likely going to get pinned to max pain and I wasn't going to be playing it right away. I ended up hopping in BBIG yesterday. When I saw it start moving, I didn't play too much yesterday, but I actually played a little bit more than normal. But yesterday, it started off right at like 550, and I was kind of talking about max pain being 6, and it didn't really pop up on my radar until I saw it kind of going on this peak, and then as it came down and touched the 50 SMA, I hopped in around 6, just to see what it could do, and I think I stopped back out as it fell back down here, and I got out around 634ish. Didn't get involved in any of this. I kind of turned my attention to some other stocks, but I got a nice little play there. And that's why I said, like, if you have even a watch list on your phone, and you could set like some alerts on some of these stocks, like your SDCs. That's one I was looking at yesterday. Didn't really provide much. It was kind of down all day, but it did cross over the 50 at about 597. This isn't one I played, but a little bit of room there. Nothing much. Another crossover here at 606 to 617. But it does look like SDC is kind of in that territory of getting pinned for the week. Back down. It's right at 6 right now, so who knows? The other one we were looking at yesterday before the stream ended was Any. Any started moving this morning big time again, moving from just under $7 up to 8. But Any yesterday was just kind of in a sell-off. I did jump in down here on this crossover at about 708, went up to 724. And I'll zoom this in because you guys have asked like where I've been setting my stop losses and stuff. A lot of times when I'm in a run or two, one of the things I'll do with this 9 EMA and it's starting to move is just move my stop loss up right below the 9 EMA. So I kind of kept like moving it up there and then got stopped out here somewhere around 719. And I'll just do that manually if I'm actually sitting there watching it and I don't want to set a trailing stop. So that's how I played Any yesterday. PROG, if you remember, and that one's actually running big time this morning. These are actually stocks that I'll go over the screen here in a second, but these are all stocks that are also popping on my screen today. PROG, I had sold my shares off in after hours the previous day. I think I talked about yesterday, I had a handful of calls and they were well over 120% profit. So I sold half, let the other half kind of run for free. And with PROG, what I ended up doing, I was just watching it. I wasn't buying any shares or trading because I still had these calls running. And somewhere up here, they were well above like 400% profit. And what I started doing on this run up to 270, it was the second time the RSI was kind of getting overbought. And I saw the MACD down here was much smaller than the momentum that was going up here. And so when it finally ended up crossing on this big candle below the my 20 EMA, I just bailed at about 258, and then I called it quits on PROG for the day. But still got out, I think, above like 400% profit on those calls, which was pretty awesome. And then I just kind of didn't play it. I mean, there was definitely some other opportunities to play PROG throughout the day. Nice rip right here. And, anybody who may have held overnight or anything is still looking pretty decent right now. I mean, I think PROG's probably probably going to continue this momentum today. Some of the other ones that we talked about yesterday morning, I think RRD came up on the scanner, had a little bit of movement. Looks like from 640 to 705. I didn't play that or even watch it yesterday. NTRB was one that we talked about being like an extremely low float, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 3.5 million float. I had said I was going to stay away from this one just because of the choppiness. And you could see it had some nice pops. I mean, shit, if you look, getting in at 1033 and it pops up to what, 1172. You're looking at, a nice 10% move in 2 minutes, but it's so choppy. It's really hard to play these extremely low floats. Did provide some more movement from 10 to 1050. Again, 1026 to 1232. I mean, that's 20% move right there in about 4 minutes. But really choppy. So again, I stayed away from NTRB yesterday. OCGN was the only other one that I played. I wasn't, obviously, we had talked about this, I think, at the beginning of the stream, that would have been a nice entry point as it popped over early. I didn't play it. Later on in the day, I caught a little bit of this action right here. I got in somewhere, I didn't get in right away. I want to say I got in somewhere around 906. It was kind of a late entry point, and I played it kind of loose. And I ended up getting stopped out somewhere around here at 935. So still a decent gain. But I mean, I know there was definitely some opportunities. A lot of other people I talked to had some nice days yesterday trading. I think the only other one we talked about yesterday, there were so many names. And, I'm just bringing them all up because I know who knows what everybody ended up playing. Tara was another one, TARA. Looks like it kind of sold off mostly. Maybe a couple opportunities in here, but I wasn't watching that one. So anyways, this morning, what's popping, what's coming up on the scanner? KOSS, obviously, like I said, this is one of the OG memes right now. It's looking like, I mean, that's a relatively small float, 4.4 million. If we look at, hold on, my tools are messed up right now. There we go. Volume so far this morning's at 1.4 million. So what? Almost 50% of the float, 40% of the float's been traded. Was as low as $15, got as high as $24.40 this morning. That's a lot of volume considering the float size. If we back out to the daily view, you can kind of see. So this thing right now is looking to open up somewhere around 21. You got a couple resistance levels in there, but when this thing starts moving, I mean, it has, again, because it's such an extremely small float, it has the ability to really pop. I mean, this is going back to, January, the whole GameStop run up when all those stocks started moving. But because of the small float, this could be one of those ones that, I mean, it moved times 10 in 2 days, even intraday here. So definitely one I'll have on my scanner. This is yesterday. It saw about 2.7 million in volume. Right now it's already at 1.4 million. But again, extremely small float. Just be careful with it. Make sure you have a stop loss on. I wouldn't try to go with a hard stop or anything like that. But KOSS really looks like something that's going to provide some nice opportunities today. So that's one that I'm definitely going to be watching. The next one that came up on the scanner this morning is ANY, one that we've been kind of talking about already. I think we mentioned that one yesterday. That's a mining play. Also has some pretty decent short interest, I believe, as well, was what we talked about. Um, max pain on this one, 6. It's trading above it already. Something that we've been kind of looking at. Implied volatility on any is still relatively low considering the movement it's been making. It's at 160%. That's not low, but that's low for these volatile stocks. You know, it's not up in the 200 range. I still wouldn't probably play options on it unless you're going like deeper out with like leaps or something like that. But you know, it's just really risky for getting in there. You know, maybe the November chain if I was gonna try to grab something, but it's really expensive right now when you look at the option chain on some of these. You know, if you were gonna day trade and use options, which I really wouldn't recommend unless you have a lot of experience doing it. Sometimes that's what I end up doing. But what I'll do is I'll buy in the money. So like, you know, the $5 strike at 242 basically prices me in at 742, which if we look where this closed yesterday, I'm paying 40 cents over or 39 cents over price on it. But it's a cheaper way to get in and get you know, get that price action on lots of 100. So that's the way I usually would day trade with a high IV stock if I wanted to go options. But anyways, any is popping again. We kind of, you know, if we look at the daily chart here, talked about this yesterday too. I really like how this thing kind of, you know, it keeps dipping and popping to a new high, dip down again. Who knows? You know, maybe it's looking to kind of shoot up and break that $12 mark. But it's kind of following the same pattern that it's been for almost the entire year. And this one wasn't really, I don't recall with the short interest, but I do remember that it, I can't even pull it up right now on Ortex. That's weird. It's crazy. Yeah, whatever. I can't pull it up. It's like never seen that before. We had it up yesterday. Anyways, that's when I'll be watching. From what I recall yesterday, the cost to borrow was high, utilization was high, but the short interest wasn't extremely high. But I could be wrong there. And then the other one that I had that popped up was Plug. That's a previous kind of retail favorite, kind of a larger float at 516. Plug right now closed yesterday at 29. It's trading at about 32 right now. If we look for some news on that one, let's see. Phillips 66 Plug Power signed agreement to advance green hydrogen. That was this morning. And also looks like there's an article here that says Plug Power stock jumps for 2 reasons. There's a third catalyst coming soon that could get shares another boost. Upgraded to a buy from a hold. Price target for Morgan and Stanley went to $40 from $35. So looks like a lot of stuff happening with Plug Power. So it's getting some action this morning. Something I'll be watching. And then really I'm just going to round out this list with one more that I'm going to keep my eye on today is BBIG because of the, you know, it's already been a short squeeze play. We just talked about the price action yesterday. It did break above max pain. Max pain, I think, was $6 we just looked at, and it's trading above it right now. Utilization's 99. Cost to borrow is right around 25. It's got decent short interest at 24. So that's another one I'll be looking to trade a little bit. If we look at the option chain on this one, BBIG's float is about 87 million. So you can bring this over and look. For that, I would say roughly about 10. We want to see 10,000 net differential over here. And, we already have some options deep in the money here at the $5 strike, the 550. This is where it starts to get interesting at 6. That's where you start to see that differential, 17,000 there, 11,000 here. And as it continues to cross 7, potentially 750, things can get interesting. We might be able to see BBIG get a nice push. And it looks like it has some decent continuation in here. This looks pretty nice right now. So BBIG is definitely one I'll be looking for. As it breaks 750, this one's got a lot of room for movement. And it wants it. It already got up yesterday above 7, starting to rise again this morning. So I think that's it. That kind of rounds out what I'm going to be watching today. I'll repeat it one more time. KOSS, PROG, obviously, I think has some room to go to keep moving. ANY, Plug, and BBIG. I know that's kind of a long list of 5. I've been keeping it to 3, but I'm just going to keep all those on my watch list. Really watching BBIG, KOSS, and PROG with the most. Let's see here. There we go. All right. Okay, Shrimply, what's up? Good morning. Pete's here. Michelle's in the house. Good morning, Louie. Noar's got his coffee. Patrick Zane says VIH options. Yeah, so VIH. Talked about this a couple times. Yesterday we talked a little bit about the dip. It did pop above 1020 yesterday. It's right back at NAV. If we look at the 5-day chart, we could see that last Friday, for whatever reason, I have no clue, it fell down to 907, which was kind of scary. And I didn't have a stop loss. This is one of the only positions I have with no stop loss. And, but it started coming back, and it slowly made its way back. Even got above 10 yesterday, and now it's trading right around NAV. I think it's at 1016 right now, but not a lot of volume behind it. Looking at the option chain on VIH, and again, this is a 20 million float, which is why what was kind of intriguing to me with the way the option chain on VIH looked. As we come over here and look at it, looks like IV is extremely high for this Friday, especially with only 2 days left. This still has that gamma squeeze setup, considering the size of the float. I mean, I think even 5,000 is a lot. Like if you count this up, you're looking at what, 25, 30,000, 40,000. Let's just call it 45,000. That's 4.5, almost 5 million shares, roughly, which is 25% of the total float, expiring just this week. Okay, so a break above 10, with a push above 11, should get this thing moving and has the ability to kind of blow out this chain, is what originally drew me to this play. That and the fact that the merger is like happening, I think, tomorrow or Friday. So I was thinking that, we would get some news or some excitement behind it. Then you look over here, in November, and it's kind of built up the same way, but even heavier. And there's a ton of open interest throughout this entire chain. And, if we do see a gamma squeeze here, I could see this thing potentially going up to 20, maybe even 25. Again, we just have to see if this thing starts moving. I would imagine usually with these mergers, leading up to the merger, we start to see some momentum, some volume pour in. Problem is we haven't seen that right now. The good news is it's back above 10, and at this point, I'm probably going to put a stop loss on this. I just talked about how I didn't have one before. I might play it kind of loose, maybe put it at like at $9.75 or something, $9.50. And, because I think it's either going to happen or it's not, right? And I'd rather be able to get out at a minimal loss, where there's still a ton of upside here. If all of a sudden we see some volume pour into this stock today, tomorrow, maybe even Friday, like I said, the option chain gives us the ability for a gamma squeeze. That's what I'm looking at. And the open interest is still there. So the play is still on the table. But once the merger goes through, I guess I should say this too. The open interest, all this is going to expire this week, but look at next month too. So there's still going to be some potential there. I just don't know if I want to hold this for another month. I've already been holding it for a couple months, kind of waiting for this setup, and so I may bail on this play on Friday if it doesn't pan out, or maybe just grab a couple leaps just so I have a little bit of skin in the game, and then just put it on the back burner and see what happens. Let's see. Patrick says, from open interest, no way to tell they're a long position or short position, right? No. So when you look at the open interest here, these are open call contracts. Okay. So, obviously the seller of these contracts is bearish on the stock. The buyer is bullish. But everything over here is bullish for the stock. These are people that are betting that the stock is going to go up. Over here is the bearish, kind of like the people that are betting against it, right? So that's kind of the way that you look at the chain, and that's why as you look down here and see all this open interest, there's a ton of, especially for a 20 million float, not much way out here on these leaps at all. But there's definitely a lot of open interest right now. The volume is the one that you can't really tell which way it's going, right? So as we see volume start pouring in here today, there's no way to know if it's people selling their contracts right now or people buying new ones. We won't know until we see the change numbers tomorrow on the open interest. CT says, any thoughts on ATER? I just kind of talked about it the last couple of days. Like, it's unfortunately, it had a nice little pop yesterday to 870. I think the IV kind of got ahead of it. Right now it's slowly starting to dwindle down, but it's still at 194%. And they pinned this thing down below 10. And I think they're going to kind of keep it bottled up between 10 and 750 at least throughout this week, and then potentially, that's one that I'll be looking at maybe next week, because now if we look at the option chain on it, I think this is really what's happening. You look at how high this IV is, this implied volatility, and there's so much room for this gamma squeeze right now, but it's got to cross 10, and I really think that they've just pinned this thing down, and they're going to keep it. They're going to keep it pinned below 10 this week. Again, if all of a sudden I see this stock start creeping up, like yesterday, it caught my attention, but I want to see it pushing like 950, 960, 970, and really getting close to that $10 mark. And that's when I'll probably hop in for the potential of a gamma squeeze if we see it happen today, tomorrow, or Friday. But right now, it looks like they're controlling this thing, and they're going to keep it below 10. At least for the rest of this week as we let the monthly options expire. Michael's asking for the option chain on WTI. Don't know anything about this stock, but sorry, I'm over here blocking half the damn chain. Let me pull this up real quick. So WTI is 98 million float, free float, I should say. And let me see. Looking at the daily view, I might as well pull it up over here. Let me see here. So this was as low as 135. Recent high of 514. If we try to go out even further, okay. So I just want to get an idea of what's going on with this one. This is a 3-year view, weekly view. But yeah, so I mean, with the 90 million float, this is like kind of like regular IV there, like 104%, 84%. We look at the IV in general, 85. That's typically where you'd want to be. If you're just looking for like how to get in, how to get into this thing, depending on like if I was going to play this right now, again, I don't know anything about this stock, but I'm assuming you're looking maybe to enter into a new play on this. I usually like to go anywhere from like 3 to 6 months out. So, that would put you somewhere around 90 days to 180 days. So somewhere in here. April would be safer. And then I usually like to look for something that's got like a 0.25 delta or somewhere in that range. So, this is probably, again, I don't know a damn thing about this stock, but I would be probably buying like the $8 strike here, and it gives me 180 days with the intention of not necessarily holding it to April. But if all of a sudden we see some insane spike in the next month or so, this option contract will probably end up being worth a lot more than 24 cents, or if you wanted to go a little bit cheaper or a little bit further in, you would go somewhere in here with either the $6 strike or the $7 strike, and you're paying $35 or $25 a contract. Again, I'm just basing this off the delta right now, not anything else that I know about the stock because I don't know anything about it. But, in terms of the option chain, there's not a ton of, open interest right now, which is really when you want to be an options buyer, right? When you talk about like, low IVs when you want to buy options, high IVs when you want to sell options or buy shares. So if this is a play you're interested in, Michael, and that's why you're asking, yeah, I would probably, probably be out here at April or where were we at? January or April, somewhere in there. If you're looking to swing trade it, if I was looking to build a longer term position, maybe leaps, right at the money or right in the money. 2023 right here at the $4 strike, or 2024 way out here at the $4 strike gives you even more. I mean, shit, you get for $10 more, you get 828 days on that thing. So, and you just needed to hit 630. So yeah, I hope that answers your questions. Dan says, will your VIH stop loss disappear once it turns to BKKT? You know what? That is a great question, and I'll let you know. I have no idea on that one. I don't know that I'm sure I have somewhere down the road, but I don't know that I've ever had like a stop loss set during like a ticker change. I'm not sure. Usually everything else carries over. I mean, shit, everything carries over typically. But I don't know. That's more of a software thing and not anything that's like, has to do with the market. So I think it depends on who you're. I would say probably not. Just thinking about it from that point of view, like, because your software isn't necessarily gonna know that ticker changed over. So it might just be sitting there holding a stop loss on a stock that doesn't exist. Cuckoo Bird, what's up? Good morning. Turks is saying ANY, GWH, and DNA. Okay. So we had the ones that I'm watching this morning, because I know you said you're just getting in, is KOSS, PROG, ANY, Plug, and BBIG. But let's check those out. GWH. Damn, so that one started moving yesterday. Started as low as $10. Oh, you know what? This is I want to say Al Trades was saying he had a great day, and now that I'm looking at this chart, this is probably the one he was talking about. Cause shit, that thing really took off. I think Ghost was saying that he was playing this too. I was at work and they were texting about some stock that was absolutely ripping, and yeah, I would imagine that's the one. What the? Oh, that's a recent. I was like, why the hell is there only 2 bars? So that was an IPO, right? From yesterday, I believe, if I recall what they were texting about yesterday. Um, Buyout offer. Okay. Um, all right. Damn, there goes Prague again. Starting to move down there. Yeah, I'll keep my eyes on GWH this morning too. DNA, I know you've been talking about for a while. They got hit hard with some downgrades, and then just got a recent upgrade. Um, Fell as low as 913 recently, popped back up to 1160, back down to 9. And yesterday had a nice little pop back up to 1120. So that's a nice range to try to day trade as well. All right. If they just got an upgrade right now, what are we looking at? So it looks like yesterday they got an outperform upgrade. Doesn't show me how much I don't see an actual price target though, unless I'm missing something. Okay. There we go. All right. CT says, dang coach, I love how you answer each of us. Thank you. Um, honestly, that's what makes the show. It's just the interaction, being able to talk to you guys. If no one was asking questions or no one was like contributing to the chat, I wouldn't have shit to talk about. So I appreciate you guys too. It kind of keeps me engaged as I'm like, I mean, that's what makes it fun for me, as I'm just waiting for the market to open and kind of like scanning around and shit. Some of the biggest plays that I've found haven't even came up on my scanners. They've been ones that you guys have called out and some of the other stuff. So, um, you know, I appreciate it as well. Um, let's see here. Fluffer's in the house. What's going on? I haven't seen you in a while. I know you popped in the other day, but I haven't seen you around as much in a while, I should say. So what's going on? Good morning. Faith's also here. Good morning. Happy hump day. All right, so Michael says doing a long-term play on WTI. Crappy month of September. Been running up while everything was trending down. Yeah, it looks like from what I was just reading about it when I was looking at it, it looked like that was an oil play. Energy company. Okay, energy company. All right. Um yeah, I mean if you were going to go long term on that with options, it you know, kind of like I said, somewhere in there. Usually, I'll try to target like a 0.25 delta, just because it's like if I'm looking to trade it, right? Because then it gets me far enough out, to where all of a sudden that's where you're gonna make the most bang for your buck. Like 0.25, that means if it goes up $1, it's gonna add on 25 cents to the contract price plus gamma, and then so then the next delta is going to increase even more, maybe up to like 30 cents on the next dollar. And so all of a sudden you're looking at, with the 0.25 on that one, let's say you went with that $8 strike. If all of a sudden we get a jump to like $7, or even $6, somewhere in that range, that $25 or that $35 contract you bought is all of a sudden going to be worth $80 or $90. So you're already up 100% on it. And then at that point, maybe you throw a trailing stop on there to make sure that you know, um, lock onto your gains and don't let them slip away, and just leave that trailing stop so that if it keeps running, or sometimes what I'll do, like I know I talked about with DraftKings recently, a couple months ago, I got into that position pretty quick where all of a sudden I was up, 300% on those options, I think it was. And so what I did was I just rolled them up. So sold them for those 300% gains, and then went out and bought the new 0.25 delta. So basically rolled my initial investment into a higher strike, and kept all the profits. So there's different ways to play it, but um, if that's one you're interested in, that'd probably be my strategy with it. Penny for a burnout says BBIG all in. Well, shit, it looks like you're doing good right now. Um, like I was saying a little while ago, it looks like this thing wants 7, and if it can get above 7, you got some gamma squeeze potential for this week. Um, but also be aware. I don't know where you're bought in at, Penny, but max pain for the week is 6, so they're gonna try to pin it down there. Obviously any stock could break in any direction, but if it continues the momentum upwards, I'm going to be looking to jump on too. And I think if it breaks 7, then we might have a nice runner. Let's see here. Sorry, guys. I got a text message real quick. Um, looks like maybe. No, nothing much. Um, so I got just looking at GameStop. Someone texted me that it was starting to pop a little bit, but it hit 180 earlier on like no volume. I think it popped on like 4,000 volume. That was at 4 a.m. Uh, and now it's back down to 178. So that was kind of a late text, I guess. I don't know if it came through late or if the sender just woke up and wasn't paying attention. Uh, but let's see here. Dan says CPI numbers out. Energy costs through the roof. Should only get worse through the winter. How would one profit off that? Um, man, that's a great question. Potentially even like with some energy plays, like with what Michael's looking at. Let's see. Michael says I was inquiring the options change to see if there was any chances of gamma. No, I wouldn't. I don't think there's anything on there for like that sort of thing. You'd want to see, um, you know, a ton of open interest. And what been looking at so many tickers. I mean, 100 million float. So, I mean, there's no real like rhyme or reason to it. Just from what I've noticed, with a float size of 100 million, um, I would say, and I'm saying 100 million. It's 93, but either way, with the float that size, I just in my experience, I want to see, 10,000 outweighing calls outweighing puts. So you can always look and just see, okay, well, this is 5,000 over here on this side. This is 3,000 over here. Not really much over here. Then you have only 2,000, And then you also have 1,000 puts sitting here at the 6 for whatever reason. So, you'd want to see, like 10,000, 12,000, 15, 10, all the way through. And that's usually what'll carry it on a float that size. And there's probably more to it. I know there is, in terms of what strikes they're at, and you want to get them deeper in the money. But just that's usually what I'll do to kind of look at it to see what kind of potential exists. And then if we get a float double or triple that size, then I want to see probably double or triple the amount of open interest in the chain. And then same thing on a smaller float. That's what got me really excited about VIH is you're looking at a float that's only 20 million and it's got that huge setup with it right now. Holiday Option says thoughts on any. Now it's all good too. I don't mind repeating myself. I know there's people that pop in and out of here all day. I mean, the max pain on this one, I believe, is $6, right? It's trading above it right now. We took a look at the options chain on it earlier. 54 million float. It does have a little bit of open interest going on as it crosses 8. Works its way up. It also has a little bit of potential today, at least to get it to, I shouldn't say today, this week, to get it up here to like this $11 range. After that, there's a lot missing in there, but that's still a big chunk to move. And it's got some momentum behind it. I really like the daily chart, and kind of like what it looks like it has the potential to do. I was trying to pull up Ortex data on it earlier, and for whatever reason, I can't pull it up today. I don't know if it's just my computer or what's going on, but I'm not having issues pulling anything else up except for AMY. Weird. But yeah, I mean, I think Innie's looking pretty solid today. Still, as like I mean, it's coming up on my scanner. It already has 5.2 million in volume right now, which is about 10% of its float. So it's getting a lot of action. I think it wants to get back up here to 8, and as it crosses that, things can get interesting. When we start getting close to like Wednesday and Thursday, with options expiration. The reason I keep looking at the chain, for anyone who's kind of new watching or whatever, it's not so much that, I'm looking to buy options. It's just that sometimes we've seen, or a lot of times we've seen, that the option chain can kind of control the underlying stock, with hedging and unhedging and everything else, when you get these stocks with like this insane amount of open interest, which is kind of where we're looking at with ANY and some other ones. Okay. That is interesting, Josh. I just pulled it up on my so PROG gets 4 patents covering ingestible therapeutic technology. Man, this stock is ready to run. I mean, it already has the kind of like we've been talking yesterday, the insane amount of open interest. It's got it's just got so much, surrounding it. It's got the high short. We'll pull up Vortex data on this right now too. But now to get a catalyst kind of mixed in there too, 128 million float. I know when I turn my head, it sounds hella low too. My bad. I keep forgetting about that. And PROG's been a good money maker. I mean, I scored pretty big on it the last couple of days. I already kind of said this was going to be my favorite moving into the day, but 53% short interest. Cost to borrow on average went up just now to 250%. 99 utilization. When we checked max pain on this one yesterday, it was at, I think, $1. Now it's at $1.50. The stock's trading at 240, well above max pain. You got me mad that I sold my options yesterday now. I cashed out and took profits yesterday on this one. So the one thing I did notice with this chain, and this is, 345% IV. I wouldn't be an options buyer at this point, but you got a decent gap here, from $3 or $3.50, $4 and $4.50. But if all of a sudden you get some buyers to come in here and kind of fill that in, this thing could really start to move and potentially get up to like 6, which is more than double what it's at right now. Yeah, some interesting stuff with PROG. I think that's going to be another one that's going to really, I think, looking at these 3, I'm thinking KOSS, PROG, BBIG are going to be the big ones to kind of provide the most volatility today, along with ANY. Those are kind of the 4 that I'm watching right now. And then plug 5. I need more windows. Michael, I like when Michael reminds me to drink coffee because I always forget and then it gets cold. Big Daddy Roro says, you got any updates on the VIH merger? Yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier. I mean, it hit 9s on Friday. It's back up to 1017. My understanding is the merger is going to happen like tomorrow or Friday, I believe. I would have expected some more movement out of the stock leading up to the merger. We didn't get it. I was kind of saying earlier that at this point, I'm probably going to put a stop loss on it if all of a sudden, once the merger goes through, which I just read is going to be Friday. It's expected to be closed on Friday the 15th. I'm sorry. Yeah, Friday. I said that right. Okay. It's one of those ones I was expecting to be able to dump this thing on the way up to the merger, and we haven't really had that opportunity yet. So mean, the option chain's still loaded. I was looking at it. It's even loaded for next month too, but I don't know if I want to hold it for another month. If I do, I'm just going to put a stop loss on it. And, that way I can kind of protect myself if all of a sudden this thing gets shorted to shit. Like, I mean, it's already got insane. It's already heavily shorted. I think utilization right now is at like 99% when we saw yesterday. Yeah, 99% utilization, 34% short interest, 36% of the free float on loans. So, I mean, it's already heavily shorted, but I don't want to be sitting here, turning a swing trade into a long-term investment on it, This was so I mean but I also don't want to end up taking a huge loss. So right now, if I throw a little stop loss on it, maybe a little bit below 10, like I was saying, maybe 950, 975. But I'm gonna hold off and see what happens on Friday, and then maybe attach that stop loss on there. But I still think it has a ton of potential. If all of a sudden we see some volume pour in today, tomorrow, even Friday for that matter. There's a ton of open interest on that option chain that still has the potential to, send that thing flying up to 20. Genetic Nate, good morning. Dave Johnson, good morning. What's up? Bill Bowers likes PROG. Hell yeah. PROG's been the big money maker all week. I held some options overnight yesterday. That panned out pretty good. Made a killing on some shares the day before. Right now, I'm not holding a position, but I'm probably not even probably. I'm almost positive I'll have a couple opportunities to get back in at some point today. Mike in DC, good morning. Gunslinger, what's up? Says BBIG looks scary. Looking at the monthly chart. I'll look at that later. For some reason, I don't have that in as one of my presets. I thought I did. Al Trades, what's up? What's going on? Let me see here. Holiday options saying some news on any this morning too. Gryphon Digital Mining announces largest single hosting services deal in core scientific history. Okay. So that's why we're seeing that pop. So yeah, I mean shit, all these stocks right now. Matter of fact, let me do this just so that I keep mentioning the 5 we're talking about right now. I might as well just put them in the description of the video. That way I think I already have 3 of them. BBIG, PROG, KOSS, any, and plug. Those are that's the watch list today. Those are the ones I'm going to be looking at least. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, so KOSS, just so I don't know how small it is. I know some people are looking on their phones, but this is KOSS up here. I got PROG in the middle right here, BBIG down below, and then CLOV over here. As we get closer to the bell, I'll probably end up switching, putting one of these ones that I'm looking to trade over here on the left, just so I can try to time an entry point. But let's see here. Let me catch up in the chat. Yeah, holiday. There really is. And they're I feel like every day we've been looking at maybe like 2 or 3. And today I got a list of 5 that and really that's kind of a lot. I usually don't like to play too many tickers. I say that, and yesterday I had a list of 6. By the time I ended up leaving, I set a watch list. I set alerts on like 6 of them. But I like to. It's really the best way to do it is maybe narrow it down to like 2 or 3 and really get a feel for those and watch those throughout the day. But I'm going to stick with these 5 today. Let's see here. Thomas O'Connell, what's up? Good morning. Colin says 2,020 followers. Yeah, we hit over 2,000, I think, over the weekend. And it's just been kind of slowly going up and kind of crazy, to think about, just having this many subscribers on the channel. Really appreciate it. Appreciate everyone coming in and watching every morning and supporting the channel and checking out the videos and everything else. Joseph Scott, what's up? Hope you have a great day too. The TMB crew, typical morning bullshit. Absolutely. All right. So what are we at? We at 6:05 right now. We haven't even talked about CLOV. Just taking a look. We did hit a high at 828 on, was this Monday? I'm getting tired now. Or I am tired. Hit 828 on Monday. Low of 790 in pre-market yesterday. Back up to a high 822 yesterday. Dipped down even lower, 780. But we were able to close the day above 8. And I think that was pretty significant. It looks like we're starting to push back above 803 right now. Volume's kind of still only 122,000. I mean, that could change at any moment. But, we're still on the low side right now. I still think that we're kind of looking for maybe like an analyst upgrade, something like that'll really start to move some more volume into the stock. But if we look at, let's take a look at Ortex. I see Thomas just asked that in the chat too. I mean, I know I said this yesterday too. I haven't been paying it too much mind either, like the Ortex data, because the float has changed so much. We're still in that 82 utilization. No big movement on the cost to borrow. Shares on loan look relatively similar to what we saw yesterday. So nothing major changing there. I'll take a look. We'll look at trading ticks in a second too, and just see kind of how the option chain looks. But max pains at $8 on the week. We look at chart exchange. Looks like yesterday we saw 40% dark pool volume. A little bit lower than the previous couple of days, but still high. I mean, 40%. That's kind of normal for CLOV at this point. And then short volume yesterday, down from the 2 previous days, but again, 45%, relatively high. I mean, we've only seen 1, 2, 3 days in the past month below 40%. So, still a heavily shorted stock, heavily manipulated stock, and I have conviction in it. I don't mind holding. It's turned into more of an investment than a swing trade at this point, but I'm fine with it. Just having fun playing these other stocks too at the same time, and kind of just waiting. And if it ends up being the Q3 earnings where all of a sudden we see a decrease in the MCR, that's fine. It could be that we see a increase in the the DCE plans, the direct contracting. It could be an increase in guidance, now because open enrollment is starting on Friday, and they'll have a little bit of those numbers to base off in those new counties that they're working in. There's so many things, and then there's the whole tech side, right? So there's a lot of positives that could be coming up, and all of that should provide for, at some point, some analyst upgrades, which I think is really what's going to kind of kick this stock in motion. As you see with like some of these other ones, you look at these stocks start moving, and you go over to the news ticker, and it's like, oh, they just got an increased price target, and so at some point, that's going to be coming for CLOV, and that should get really drive some volume into this stock. If we look at trading ticks and just see, I mean, there's been nothing but bullish options flow coming in here for a while, and huh. Trading ticks must be down this morning. That's crazy. I'm gonna check their Discord server. I don't know if it's me or them. Okay. So yeah, it's their servers down right now. All right, so we're not checking trading ticks. Um, let's see. Just looking at the option chain, like I said, it's been nothing but bullish flow, kind of coming in here. IV yesterday was below 100%. I believe it was like around 90. We're at 109 right now, relatively low. Um, we're starting to get some build up here. I don't think we have any sort of gamma squeeze potential right now. Um, at least in the short term. I think the next big option chain that I saw recently was November, and that's starting to build up in the December's where we've been seeing a lot of the call buying coming in. So, yeah, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of options in there, but nothing like we saw back in back in the June run up. So, in order to get that kind of gamma squeeze momentum to push us through the chain, we're going to want to see a little bit more there on the option chain, especially since the float size is a little bit bigger now. But I'm also okay with just like kind of like a steady climb. So let's see, Malik, what's going on? Danny did it. Says PROG's going to make a new high today. I believe so, especially with that patent news. I mean, yesterday I think it topped out at 270. It looks like it's trying to push that right now. So this is definitely going to be the one that I think it's been the favorite all week. But these other ones are providing for some nice movement too. And BBIG is going to get interesting as it crosses 7. So close to options expiration. So yeah, all these plays are looking nice. Noir says CEI is moving now, is it? Yeah, it saw a little bit of volume from 146, and it's heading up to 157 right now. So that one's starting to pop too. There's so many movers right now, and that's why I can't stress this enough. Like, it's funny because the names today on the watch list are all kind of familiar, but I've been saying every day, like, these same old plays like SDC, ATER, GRE, TMC's one that I haven't even. I think I ran out of room on my watch list, but that's another one that I would keep up too. Um, just keep them all, set alerts on them, and if all of a sudden you start seeing them move, you may be able to get a nice entry on them. And that's the way I've been playing it. At least that's how BBIG popped up for me yesterday. I mean, I was at work and I had an alert go off on my phone that I set just to kind of, I think at like 650, that if it crossed that, I wanted to get an alert just so that I could see that it had broken above max pain and starting to move. And that's how I got that entry point yesterday. But Just keep an eye on all these familiar names because right now there's been a ton of volatility intraday. Even if they kind of come down and settle right where they started at, you're still getting these nice, like I said, volatility, and that's what it's all about. Malik said, "What caused the large volume spike in June?" Um, to be honest, I'm not even sure. I know that so like at the time we had earnings was like right near the end of May, and um, to be honest, earnings had like the biggest potential for like a gamma squeeze. The option chain was absolutely loaded up, like unreal, and it it looked like it was ready to go. It was just approaching that mark where it needed to kind of get to. I could be totally off, but I think it was like 9 or 10. It had to cross, and as it was getting past there, Hindenburg dropped some BS report, and it got kind of hammered down again over the next like week or two. Kind of came down and hit like this low of six something, and then it just slowly started creeping up from there. And I think it was just kind of compressed down so much that as we started moving back up, um, the option chain kind of just took over. It was like, but the volume that kind of poured into it as it was moving up. Um, I'm not entirely sure. I think a lot of the Wall Street bet momentum came in kind of like FOMOing in, like maybe on the second day, and that might have been what pushed it over the into that gamma squeeze range. But if you look back, yeah, see, there's the earnings right there. Was oh, I'm looking back at the wrong date. There's the earnings right there at 517. Okay, so we kind of got hammered down, and then we came down and hit the oh, so I was way off. So we wanted to cross 8, I think, to really kick things off on that gamma squeeze. Um, but then the June chain ended up being just as loaded up. So what happened was after it kind of came down, new buyers came in and started loading up the June chain, and as this thing started creeping up, I think once we kind of got here above $8, it really just started moving. And what ends up happening, like even with this volume, you talk about delta hedging, as the stock started crossing upwards above 10, above 11, and kind of got into this little gamma squeeze. That volume that you're seeing there, 125 million, a lot of that is algorithms, and buying up and shedding shares and trading back and forth and high frequency trading going on mixed in with FOMO. I'm sure this thing popped up on a ton of people's scanners at the time and everything else. Um, and so you start looking at that, and then there was this huge gap up. Was I think honestly we were already kind of in that gamma squeeze range where the algorithms took over and we're just doing the buying into after hours, and then we opened up on a gap and just kept ripping. Um, so yeah, not sure exactly what caused it though, but I think it just got compressed down so much, um, and any sort of buying pressure kind of turned it around, which is kind of where we're at now. But I think the stock's even way more manipulated at this point. Zip Jester, yes, it's definitely looking positive. I don't know if I'll go back in with the options because I mean it's even more expensive now. It's like about 360%. They added in some new strikes. I mean, if I was gonna play Prog right now with the options, there's two ways I would do it. Either go deep in the money, but then at that point, are you really getting any sort of benefit, right? So, um, let's say you went like with the actually shit. Who knows where this will open up at? But I mean, to get like the $2 strike, Well, we're trading at 240 now. But it looks like yesterday when the market closed at 220, you were paying a 20 cent premium. Um, so to me, that would probably be the safest play. You figure, and I'm just basing this off yesterday's close. Like if you would have bought the $1.50, you're basically paying 225, and the stock was trading at 222. So, factor in that we're opening up a little bit higher, 20 cents higher today. This $2 strike might cost you 260. That's not bad. Um, and you jump in on that, but there's definitely a ton of open interest here. They did open up some new strikes. So what I was going to say was I would play this two ways. Either go deep in the money and be safe, and then it's almost like you're just day trading shares, or go with kind of like a lotto ticket FD, but it's not really worth it because, you look at this one's trading at 10 cents. So I would imagine this $4 strike when it opens this morning will probably be at 5, right? Do you want to pay $5 for something that's got to move 100%, or do you want to pay $40 for something that's, or probably 60, I should say, it's probably going to open up somewhere around 60, for something that doesn't really have to move at all. It just has to move about 20 cents. So that's kind of where I'll be, is if I jump back in today, I'm going to go in the money this time. And really that just provides you with like dollar for dollar movement, as opposed to, out of the money. You could kind of profit off the gamma and all that kind of stuff, but it's just so expensive. 345% IV right now. And I'm assuming that's going to get even higher once the market opens and this stock is gapping up once again. So let's see. Me Tenderfoot says, let's go. Chef Daddy, what's going on? Chef Daddy's ready to start trading and make some money again. Let's do it. Danny did it. Said he made some money. Yeah, PROG's been the biggest winner for me all week. All right, now Ploria's pissing me off. I went to sleep last night after the game was at, I think, 5-1. I tried watching the whole game, and it was starting to get late, and I think at the time it was like 4-1, and I'm like, I think the Giants had 2 on, time run at the plate, and I'm like, all right, let's see if they can get back in here, then I'll stay awake and finish watching the game. And then they didn't score on that opportunity, and then the next inning the Dodgers scored another run, and it was like, you know what, I'll go to bed. If they win, they win. I'll look at it tomorrow. So I was just too tired last night to sit through it, especially when the score was 5-1. But elimination game on Thursday, in San Francisco. Yeah, Thomas, you're absolutely right. People watching, little spark would set it off. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think that CLOV already has. There's so many people holding the stock. There's so many people, but then there's all these other people watching it to see what's going to happen. And I'm talking more from like the retail perspective. Institutions have been buying up the stock where it's at right now. But I think that a lot of the retail volume that we're going to see pour into this is going to come when it starts getting more bullish momentum. And we've already been seeing it though too. So I talked about this the other day. Let me see here. Let me just turn this shit off. It's going to piss me off. I hate looking at all those damn lines. But we just started moving up. We had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green days in a row. I don't know why that's showing up green. Oh, It wasn't a green day. It's a green candle. We gapped down and ended up closing positive on the day. But, the chart's starting to look positive. We're starting to trend upwards. Crossover on the MACD. RSI still above 50. I think if we close above this 50 SMA, that could potentially be, invite in more traders, because I do think there's a lot of eyes on this stock. And the people are just waiting for like that next signal that says, okay, it's time to jump in. That's my thought, at least. Who knows? That could be today. Let's close above 830. KOSS starting to pop again, big time too. Right before market open. So I'm gonna swap this over right now. Hope no one gets mad. But I know I said I don't want to trade on the stream, but I'm actually gonna try to look for an entry point on PROG this morning. So I'm gonna go. This is CLOV right here in the middle one. Okay. Who knows? Maybe me taking CLOV off the big screen might be good for it. Get some good luck in there. So this is CLOV right here. We got KOSS, BBIG. I do have ANY off to the side over here, along with the other one that we were going to watch today was PROG. So that's my those are my 5. But I'm going to be looking to jump in here somewhere in the, off the opening bell on PROG, and it looks like we're about 5 minutes away. Jay saw the action on PROG. Yeah, so that's one of my ones that I'm gonna be watching to kind of for some day trade opportunities today. I saw PROG had a couple good news things here, and then also it said that there's a third catalyst coming. There's been all kinds of stuff on the news ticker this morning. It is trading up. I think, where did it end yesterday? $29, $29.78, and it's trading at 32 right now. So a little bit of a gap up. Should give some nice volatility to play today. Let's see here. Floria's asking CHPT less than 20. Don't know much about that one, but let me pull it up. I'll go over here right now just because we're getting near the open. But looks like it's trading at, right around $20. Don't know much about this stock though, so I can't really. It does look like it's at a. Was that a SPAC originally? Because I'm just looking at the daily chart, and it looks like it was trading right at $10 for a long time, and then all of a sudden took off, and high of 50 at one point, just touched 17, and it looks like. I mean, again, I'm not one for like the wedges and all that, but it does look like it's got a nice flag forming, and if it breaks out of that, who knows? But I don't know enough about that stock to really give any sort of advice, or this is never advice either, I should say that. Me Tenderfoot says BTG. Okay. Oh, is that gold? Looks like DATS is popping up on my scanner right now too. And that's been one that's been moving recently. So many plays right now. Yeah, DATS is starting to move up 10% right now in pre-market. Getting a lot of volume behind it. That's a 12 million float, I think. And it's sitting at about almost 4 million in volume this morning. So a lot of stocks moving today. Should make for an interesting day. But I'm going to stick with these five and just kind of, see which ones maybe provide me with a nice little entry point. Yeah, Noah, good. Absolutely. Good luck, everybody. We're getting close. We're about a minute away from the open. Good luck trading today if you are. If not, if you're just kind of watching some tickers and holding on to some stocks, same thing. Good luck. Let's see some green today. The market right now, the SPY looks like what it closed at 433. It's looking to gap up a little bit. It's at 434.75 right now. Um, you know, Sometimes these green days in the market bring about some green days in the stocks too, the ones we're watching. So let's see how this goes. There was the bell. I should actually I'm over here looking at everything else. I gotta get my there we go. I didn't even have my trade entry thing open in case I want to jump in on something. Damn, so PROG dipped all the way down to 235 right there. Starting to kind of roll back a little bit now. Close that out. So we got BBIG coming down a little bit, down at 973. Really early though. I've talked about this before. Really in the first couple minutes, you're just trying to establish this opening range. And then really what each stock is trying to do is look for a breakout point, whether it's breaking up or breaking down. Sometimes it could be a 1 minute opening range, where you're just basing it off this first candle. But more often than not, it's kind of a 5 minute range. So wherever the candles end up in the first 5 minutes, that's why you see them going up and down, and they're establishing kind of a low and a high point. That's what I mean by this range. And then once that range is established, then you're looking for a breakout in either direction, kind of like how we're seeing now. So now we got a 245 top, 234 bottom, trading inside of that, and then you'll be looking for a breakout on either side. Or you see something like this where it just starts moving. Looking around, yeah, CEI's up 11% right now. PROG's up 11%. Plug is up 8. BBIG's up 8. SDC down 2%. GRE down. GRE's pretty flat. ANY up 6%. VIH starting to fall back down, hitting 961 right here. CLOV down 1.2, nothing huge. And BBIG is looking to push 7. All right, that might be the play. I talked about that option chain on BBIG today, and I think if it starts pushing well above 7, this is going to hit gamma squeeze territory. I'm gonna pull that up one more time. We've been looking at so many tickers today, but it's just got a ton of options buried right here in the money already. We just crossed 750 gets really interesting with 26,000 open contracts. I think that's going to be the one. If we see a breakout here on BBIG today, that might be the play, at least the one that I'm going to be looking to jump into. Thomas says CLOV's getting the old spank. Yeah, just the typical morning. Who knows though? I mean, like I said, we're just kind of establishing this opening range here. We're still in the first 4 minutes. I mean, if we come down and kind of bottom out right here at 790 and then rip upwards, we could have a nice start to the morning. It's so hard to tell when you're looking at, like, for instance, even if you were looking at PROG, it came down, it popped up. This is kind of what I was talking about. So now that we're in the 5th minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna put this on a 5-minute chart real quick just so you can see what I'm talking about. Now we have our opening range, right? It goes from 234 to 249. Now that that's been established, really, you know, a lot of times you can kind of tell what's going to happen with the stock, at least in the short term. You know, if it ends up, sometimes a stock will just trade in this range all day, which kind of sucks if you're day trading. But what you're really looking for is for it to break up or break down. So if all of a sudden we see PROG come down and get below 234, that would almost be like a short signal. Like, okay, it's time to, short this thing. I'm not trying to short PROG. I'm not saying that at all. That'd be dangerous as hell. But just in general, now all of a sudden, if we see this thing cross up and break above our 249 mark, now it's looking bullish as hell. So that's one trading strategy. We are trading above VWAP right now. Another trading strategy is the one that I've been talking about on here for quite some time. If we cross above this 50 SMA, that's usually for me an entry point. So if all of a sudden we were to cross above right now, I'd be getting in at 241, looking for potential resistance up here at 249, because that's where that range is, right? If we break through that, now you might have a runner. But even if not, you got room for about 8 cents of movement right there, which is pretty big. And there's your breakdown on PROG. So we'll see how that plays out. KOSS, kind of the same thing. It came down here. Again, if it breaks above this 50, I know this is tiny as shit, but if it breaks above this 50 right here, that's at about 21.53. You got 30 cents of movement here to VWAP. That would be like my first kind of, okay, we might find resistance there. If it busts through VWAP, I'd be looking for the next line of resistance right here at that top of that opening range at 22.91. So just different things that you're looking for, and the reason you want to know where the resistance is, that's either where you're going to like try to take some profits, or you're going to look for it to start reversing, and that's where you want to exit at. Just different things that I kind of look at when I'm trading, at least on when to exit. Because I know yesterday, some people were asking like, how do you know when to exit, all that kind of stuff. And that's usually what I'm looking for. Let me zoom these in too. There we go. Big Nate, typical morning bullshit. Absolutely. But CLOV looks like we tapped off that 785 and we're heading back to VWAP. Just looking at some of these other ones. Yeah, Everything's kind of looking the same. SDC it looks big. The candle looks big, but it's not that big of a dump. Maybe like 16 cents. So, yeah. It's kind of hard to tell early on like this to really get a read. CLOV looking pretty solid though right now on the 1 minute. Crossed above VWAP. Volume on CLOV is I mean shit, we're still not even at 1 million though, so really low volume today. That could change at any time, but it kind of seems like this is going to be a low volume day just based on pre-market and what we're seeing right now. I really think we need some news behind CLOV, something to kind of, draw some more volume into the stock, get some more retail interest into the stock, bring some more volume in. BBIG. So this would be an entry point here right now at 685 for me, anywhere in here. And we're breaking above VWAP. Not a lot of volume behind this push through VWAP though. I'm not taking it right now, but this would be like my kind of entry signal. We're breaking above the 50 SMA and above VWAP for that matter. Again, looking for resistance probably at 708. Yeah, nice. I should have got in on that. Too hard for me to trade while we're streaming. It really is. I don't know why. Maybe I should just do it. Anyways, we're looking at 641 right now. Glad everybody joined. I'm gonna go get my kids ready for school. Get breakfast going and all that, and then head off to work myself. But thank you everybody for coming on. Really appreciate it. Had a lot of fun. I'm really liking this kind of format where we're looking at runners in the morning and finding some. It's been working out pretty well for me, keeping me occupied and making a little bit of money in the meantime too. So, actually, before I sign off, so Big Nate saying that BB, are you talking BlackBerry? See, that's interesting because I talked about this morning, like KOSS is one of the original meme stocks that started popping. You got now BlackBerry. Usually those things kind of run together. I'm wondering what NAKD is one of those other ones. Nothing doing there. BBBY. Nothing doing there. And then, of course, the OGs, GME, nothing. AMC. So just BlackBerry and KOSS. Okay. All right. What do we have up here? No, it wasn't BBIG. No, I can't even remember. There we go. All right. So, yeah, thank you everybody for joining. Appreciate it. Good luck today in the market. Hopefully see you again tomorrow morning. Mike says later, everyone. Have a green day. Go PROG and CLOV. Absolutely. Thank you everybody for joining. Check you guys later. See you tomorrow. Again, good luck.